Today is Wednesday, April 15th at 2020 at 15:07 hours. Detective Moffat at... We're going to be speaking with Nicole Earl in regards to case number 19-83477. Hi, is Nicole in? Hi, Nicole. I'm Detective Moffat with Chandler PD. How are you?
I'm good.
Just wanted to touch base with you about Lori Vallow.
Okay.
Is it all right if I come in, or you want to talk out here, or whatever is more comfortable for you? All right. So how'd you know Lori? Okay. Switch notepad to the pages. How'd you meet her?
I met her at church.
Church? How long have you known her?
My husband might be able to remember better. 2000. I want to say like 2008.
Okay.
Josh, do you remember how long we've known the Vallow'S? Was it 2008?
Not quite that old, something like that. 2008 was the year we moved back.
Yeah. Okay.
So probably not that.
No, because they weren't here then.
Maybe like 10 years.
Okay.
Maybe 2011.
Are you going to keep playing?
Yeah, I'd say 10 years is fair.
Okay. How
I
often?
remember the exact
Yeah, that's fine.
year.
And you met through church.
Uh-huh.
Which ward?
It was, at the time, Lindsay First Ward, I want to say.
Okay. And then you guys just kept in touch?
Yeah.
How
She
often?
moved to Hawaii. Her family moved to Hawaii, like about maybe a year or two after.
Okay.
I don't remember. I just know they were gone for about 3 years. And then Josh ran into her at another church and said, "Oh, they've moved back."
Gotcha.
And because we were friends with them and their children, and
How often, I guess, prior to all the stuff that's happened, when was the last time that you talked to her?
the last time like in person,
Or even over the phone?
the last time, well, like there's texting and then there's phone calls, right? So the last text was probably in December
Okay. This of
2018.
Okay.
I could go back and look at my text if you needed.
And what was that text?
Just said I'm praying for your family, and
You said that to her?
yeah.
Okay. Did she respond at all?
Her sisters and her mom and
Okay, so you knew her pretty well over the course of the
Yeah.
10 or 11 years. Did she respond to you at all?
I do not believe she responded to that.
When's the last time you saw her in person?
It was, I believe, very end of July or first part of August.
So after Charles had died?
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw her a couple of times after Charles died. At least 2 times,
What did she have to say about that? And about Charles passing?
She told me everything she believes that happened.
What did she tell you happened?
She said that Charles came in from out of town. I believe she said he was staying maybe at a hotel or something.
Okay.
I was coming to pick up JJ
Okay.
to go to school. And I'm not very good at all the details, but she said that he came and there was confrontation, and that Tylee came in with I don't know if it was a softball bat or a baseball bat, but some sort of bat. And then she said that she had Tylee take JJ out to the car.
Okay.
And buckle him in his seat. And then that's when Charles took the bat and tried to hit Alex.
Okay.
And then Alex fired in self-defense.
Did you know Alex?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was your...
Well.
Not well. How many times had you met him?
I
Or
met him at a birthday, like JJ's birthday party, and that was the first time, and that would have been last summer. No, not last summer. The summer before. Yeah.
So summer of 18?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whenever his birthday was, like, it was a pool party, so that's why I'm thinking it was summer.
Okay.
But I don't remember exactly when his birthday was.
Besides that birthday party, like you said, you knew her sisters and her parents and stuff. Had you had many interactions with Alex?
Uh-uh.
Okay. When was the last time you saw Lori in person? I guess prior to Charles's death.
I believe it would have been possibly June.
Okay.
Maybe end of May. I know that she moved to Texas at some point in the springtime.
Okay.
Because they separated in January-ish. And then he went to Texas. I believe it was Houston. And then she went there maybe April-ish.
Okay.
There for a little while. And then came back. And at that point we had JJ.
When she came back from Houston?
I believe so.
Okay.
Because I think I remember her saying, because he went to the special school,
Lauren Institute, yeah.
And she was having him in the summer program there.
Okay.
That's what I remember. Because whatever the school was in Houston, it wasn't really the best fit, I remember her saying.
Gotcha.
And he really seemed to do well at the Lauren Institute and like the staff and the teachers. And I remember there was some sort of purse altercation. And I think it might have been during that time.
Okay.
He had taken her purse or something. But I don't remember much of the details.
What the details were? Okay.
Yeah. But I do think that might have been in the springtime.
So, are you LDS? Mm-hmm. Obviously, you guys met through the church. Did you ever hear Lori, I guess, discuss things that were kind of like outside of the LDS faith and have conversations with her about that stuff?
Yeah, she did talk a little bit about those things.
And what do you know? I guess what were the things that you heard, or I guess knowing now, kind of where all of these criminal cases have gone? Is there anything that stands out to you now as something like, oh, that's strange, or that conversation was weird, or anything else like that?
I don't know if I exactly know what you mean.
I guess, like, I just left Christina's house, and Christina had overheard conversations that she's like, there was just a really bizarre conversation that we had, and it made me feel uncomfortable, and it was kind of outside the norm of any normal conversation you'd kind of overhear. Yeah. Did you ever have those conversations with Lori?
Yeah, she talked about her husband being possessed.
Okay.
And Heidi as well. And give up on people. Like, whether they're doing the right thing or not in their life, like, that you can just kind of pick and choose, and it's like, we're all just kind of in this life together. It's my thoughts. And
Okay.
we just need to keep on doing the right thing. And so I didn't really like that. And as she started talking about those things, I just tried to distance myself more
Okay.
from those conversations.
I guess one of the reasons that you came to be, or I guess that we wanted to follow up and talk to you. I don't know if you've seen any of these emails and stuff, but this was kind of something that was found in an email between Chad and Lori, and it kind of goes through their previous lives and who everybody is, and obviously you were included on that. So it was just kind of you, Christina, and Serena were all included on that. So we're kind of following up with all of you guys just to see where everybody fits into the puzzle. And
I recognize many of the names. I've not ever seen this document. I do know a lot of these people. I know Jason now. He was in that same ward. I don't know if he was actually there when Lori. I don't believe he lived there when she was in the ward, actually.
had you ever met Chad Daybell? No, never met him. Had you ever heard or had any conversations with Lori about Chad?
She gave me his book series.
Okay.
I guess there was a Preparing a People conference here
Okay.
in Mesa, maybe, or Gilbert. I'm not quite sure.
Did you ever go to any of
I
those?
didn't go to any of them, so I don't know exactly
Okay.
what they're about. But when she came back from that conference, then she gave me a set of the books.
Gotcha.
I'm not a fiction reader. I actually despise it.
Okay.
So I read a little bit of the first one, and I was like, yeah, that's not for me. So
Gotcha.
anyway, I haven't read any of them.
Okay.
I don't really know what they talk about other than that very first book.
Besides her basically giving you the book and stuff, did she ever talk to you about how when they became friends, or the relationship that they...
She talked about, well, she met him at that Preparing People, from what I understand.
Okay.
And I don't know if she was presenting at that or if she just went to it. I have no idea.
Okay.
Because I do know she went to another one in Idaho, maybe. And I think she did present there, but I don't know for sure.
Okay.
And like, I know Melanie Gibb does present at those because she wrote some sort of book or something, which I haven't read either.
Gotcha.
It's not
Because you don't like the fiction stuff.
not my kind of thing. So she met him, and then I didn't really hear her say anything about him until probably March or maybe April, and then she started to talk about him. But she didn't necessarily talk about him that they were having any sort of relationship.
Okay.
Other than I think they were in communication with one another. He lives in Idaho, and she lived here, and she was in Texas at that time too. So that's all I know. She didn't ever go into any detail about, because now, like, obviously there's a lot in the media, but I was never given any information.
Gotcha. Okay.
About that there was anything romantic going on or anything of that nature. So I can't speak about that.
Gotcha. As far as, I guess, is there anything that with our investigations that you overheard that you think I should know, or like that we should discuss type thing? You know what I'm saying? I know. Well, let me ask you this: you are LDS. How often did you guys have conversations of the I guess, her beliefs or the beliefs that she was kind of falling into that were far out over and above the LDS faith and the teachings in the LDS Church?
That's a good question. So, I don't know, are you LDS?
No, I'm not.
Okay. Once she moved back from Hawaii, I ran into her. Josh had said she was here, but she wasn't living nearby.
Gotcha.
And then I ran into her at the temple, which is over
on Higley?
No,
or Greenfield?
Greenfield.
Yeah.
Greenfield and Pecos. And so we visited, and then periodically we would go and do work at the temple.
Okay.
And that's what we were doing. So we were discussing religious things, but it wasn't necessarily far left things that we're hearing about. She did, however, ask me to come, and she visited in March, I want to say, and she did visit about some of those things, and it just was not something that rang true to me.
Okay.
And at that point, that's when I distanced myself, and it was easier because she was in Texas after that.
Gotcha.
So, there'd be some texting back and forth, and then she moved back in June with JJ to go to school, and she wanted to get together. We got together, and once again she discussed some of those things, and they just weren't ringing true with me. So at that point I really just thought, I'm not interested in, I still like her as a person, but I'm not interested in getting involved in those kinds of things. And then in July I was out of town, and Josh called me as I was driving home and said, I've just heard through the grapevine that Charles died. He didn't have any information, so I didn't know what had happened, so I did reach out to her at that point and just sent her a message and said, I am thinking about you, I hope everything is well, hopefully you and the kids are okay. And then a couple of days later she contacted me, and I could look back and tell you the exact dates on the text messages if you need them.
If you think there's anything in the context that I need to know or I should know as far as these investigations go.
I didn't really talk to her before that happened.
Okay.
And then she said that she wanted to get together and visit, and I was a little bit concerned about it because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't impeding any sort of police investigation or getting information that I shouldn't be privileged to hear or have. And so that was a couple of days after, and so we met, and I just let her talk the whole time, and I didn't really ask a lot of questions because I was just in shock, really. It just was so surprising that things could escalate to that degree, and so that made me sad because we'd known Charles for 10 years. I know his sons, I know Tylee and JJ, and
knowing Charles as well as you did you ever see any side of Charles that would have been, the yelling and screaming and the allegations that she basically, or the behaviors that she says Charles, or how he acted at the time of the...
I didn't ever see any of that because most of the times I was seeing him, we were in social settings.
Okay.
We were at, a get-together at their house or like at church, and so I didn't ever see anything of that. She shared things with me, but obviously those are her words, so I don't...
So previous to this, had she confided in you that Charles was, verbally abusive or physically abusive or anything like that in the past?
She didn't say anything about physically, but she mentioned he was a little hot-tempered at times.
Okay.
And he was an intense person. I think that's why he was such a good businessman, because he could just get in there and get things done and all. But yeah, I can't really speak to that because I never saw.
Okay. Did you ever hear her or Alex or anybody talk about like what they, if somebody were possessed, how they deal with the possession, or anything like that back when this was going on? I know you might have seen a lot of media stuff since then. But at firsthand, did you ever hear her or Alex talk about, what to do when somebody is possessed?
Lori, I didn't ever hear Alex talk about anything like that. Like, I saw him social settings once again, like little family get-togethers.
Yeah.
And then 2 other times. One time was Serena, she had moved here from Connecticut in August-ish.
Okay.
End of July, 1st of August.
Of this past year, shortly after Charles died?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's moving to Queen Creek, and so Lori sent out a text and said, let's all get together at Costa Vida and have lunch. And when I arrived, Alex was there, which I thought was rather strange because it was just a bunch of ladies that were getting together for lunch. So he was there, but he didn't really converse or talk much during the course of the lunch.
Okay.
And if he was talking, it was kind of groups of people chatting at the table. So
gotcha.
I didn't really hear anything he was saying necessarily.
Okay. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I need to ask you. Oh, what's a good phone number to get a hold of you?
That really is a number.
That's an easy number to remember.
It's the best number for my little kindergartner and my kids because
Absolutely.
they could for that.
Anything else that you could think of that's important, I guess, now knowing that we have all these criminal investigations going, that you overheard then, that, like I said, you might have written it off, but you go, oh man, now that all this is happening that's weird or bizarre? Or...
In June, when we saw her after she'd been gone a couple of months, when I say we, Christine and I got together with her, she had said that, and Christine would be able to recall, I don't even take ibuprofen, so I have no understanding of medicine or anything of that nature.
Okay.
But there was some sort of, I think it was a medicine of some sort, and I don't know if it was something Charles took or if it's something that maybe was another medication that JJ took.
Okay.
I know JJ took quite a bit of medicine
Yeah.
for his different issues, but she had said that she had been putting whatever this was into, I think, a smoothie or some sort of drink for Charles when she was in Texas.
Okay.
In his last months. But I don't recall any name or anything because my brain doesn't really know any of that information. I'm just not a medicine person.
Anything else you could think of?
I read stuff and it's just like all this is very, very surreal. Like to know somebody for a long time and then just to have everything in a matter of a few months turn upside down, and like to know the kids. And
had she ever, I guess in the text messages that you guys had, like after she moved, did you know she was moving to Idaho? Did she tell you that?
I didn't know that.
Okay.
I guess it was in end of July or first part of August. I believe we were texting, and the people that they had rented the house from where the incident had happened, I believe they were friends of Lori and Charles, and they were really unhappy with it, obviously. And I don't know if it leaves some sort of record on the house for like sales later on or something, but she said that they were wanting her to leave, and I said, well, just let us know, like, I have teenage boys. I said, we can come and we can help you pack up your things and get you settled someplace else if you need that kind of help. And she's like, okay, I'll let you know. And she didn't ever say anything, so I was really surprised when all of a sudden I saw the media in December and realized not long after all that she had left and had moved to Idaho, and I wasn't aware that she was in Idaho.
Gotcha. So any text conversations you had with her, if there were any around that time, she never said she was moving to Idaho or what she was doing.
No.
Okay.
No, the last I'd heard is she just said that the people that owned the home told her she would need to move out, and her niece Melanie, had possibly said she could live there for the time, like trying to figure out.
Gotcha.
Because I think from what she had said in July, after she was concerned about the money and like all the business debt and everything, that talked about all the car loans and just not knowing how all of this was going to work out. And
Okay.
because she had said that Charles had changed all the, and his sister, I believe it would have been in March, had changed all the life insurance policies and all those things over to his sister at that point in time, which was understandable in my mind because he was pretty angry with Lori and Hurt and whatever else.
Yeah.
emotions. And so, and his sister had come and helped him move to Texas, so I knew that she was involved in trying to help Charles with JJ and getting things settled. And
Gotcha.
so that was something that she was saying, so I didn't know where she would end up.
Okay.
That's why we were willing to go and like help her load up a moving truck or get into an apartment or wherever she needed to land, knowing that I'm sure that that house was not inexpensive to rent.
Yeah. So obviously,
Because they'd always lived in pretty fancy, nice homes and areas in the past. So.
you don't have any idea where the kids are. They aren't with you or any one of their friends or mutual friends or. Okay.
I wish I knew where they were. Yeah.
And she hasn't. There hasn't been any responses, I guess, since the media has gotten a hold of this that would shed any light on this case or these cases one way or another.
Like a text message?
Yeah, like text messages or anything.
I don't think I received anything from her. I could go get my phone and look, but I don't believe when I texted her in December when I saw everything going on, I don't think she responded at that point.
Okay.
My mom was positive.
I ran out of business cards, but I'm gonna write my email address and my desk phone number down for you. If something comes up, if you happen to something comes to mind of I really should tell Nathan or Detective Moffat that, just give me a call or shoot me an email. They have us working from home 3 days a week, so this is my 1 day off office work until this quarantine is done. I'm guessing that will be done by. Yeah, it might go into mid-May. My wife's a ER trauma nurse, charge nurse, and they're seeing a decline, but they're still seeing steady cases. So I think it all depends on what the governor wants to do or decides to do.
It's steady cases. Are they really high-risk cases, or is it just people having symptoms and it's more like mild flu?
My personal opinion in talking to her and in the way it's working, the scary part is there are people mid-30s that have no medical condition, non-smokers, that are reacting bad to this and crashing. And it's not many, but it's those rare cases that you go, really, is anybody safe, depending on how personally your body's going to react to it. A lot of people are coming in and going, they have bronchitis-like symptoms and that kind of stuff, and they're COVID positive, and they're like, well, I just don't feel good. I'm not getting better. Well, go home and quit infecting people and just stay home for until you're better type thing. So it's really just kind of a bizarre mix of it's those one-offs, and you never know if there is something underlying they could have had. I mean, I work in homicide. I've done death investigations where 22-year-old kids found at the park and just had an aortic dissection or something that was underlying medical conditions. So you don't know whether or not those people might have had an undiagnosed or untreated because they didn't see a physician. But it's those one-off cases that are kind of scary. Obviously at the at-risk groups and stuff like that they're at risk. You're more susceptible to get something like that. So I get that, but they are going down. I mean, they have a tent set outside of CRH because that's where she works at, and for any COVID type complaints, if it's non-emergent and doesn't need to happen right away, then they're being treated out there, and if they don't need to be admitted, they just go home from there and quarantine. So I'm guessing, I think because of the bad economy and stuff like that, they might rush to open it back on May 1, as we were set to do. But hopefully the governor's paying attention, and if we need to stay closed, stay down for 2 more weeks, we do, just because I think it really is. If you're sitting here or going to the grocery store and you wash your hands and don't touch your face while you're in there and use hand sanitizer, you're not likely to get it. So if we get on the downhill curve of this, hopefully it slows it and we get all done with this. So
Here, like you're trying to wade through what the media is saying. Like I'm sister of Michigan, and it's a mess.
Yeah, Michigan's really bad.
Louisiana, and it's just like both of those are terrible states to be in right now.
Yeah, and New York obviously is really, really bad.
My sister that's in Louisiana just moved from Manhattan a couple of years ago. I'm like, you would have been bad off no matter where you've been.
Right.
So, well, thanks to your wife and you for being on the front lines of all this
thank you.
hard stuff. Like, I can't even imagine homicide. That would be grateful for people that are willing to do that.
There's my email address. I need to take that back only because stuff's been getting to the media and it's just making matters worse for all of us. So, not that you would, but I just...
No, I
any questions for me?
Very careful sharing with anyone. Like, if people knew that I was friends with her and they come to ask me, I just try not to share details because I don't want to create any extra sensationalism or
Yeah.
And so...
Any questions I can answer for you?
I have a million questions. Probably most of them you can't talk about, so yeah.
Okay.
It's just really all this has transpired, and I think the most it was shocking in July. I thought what transpired by Christmas time just totally. I didn't see it until Christmas Eve on picture on the news. What's going on?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it is.
I am afraid that they probably aren't alive, but we can always hope that they're being taken care of someplace. And I just hope for closure for her parents and her siblings and JG's grandparents and family members. That's really,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. And for Charles' sons,
yeah, Zach and Cole.
They're kind of I think they're kind of the quiet victims of all of this, where it's just terrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they're directly affected by it, and Colby too. Just really hard to think about all the different people that have been affected by these choices. So I haven't checked for a few weeks. Has it gone to trial?
Her case for the child abandonment is pending preliminary hearing. So
everything's kind of shut down.
Yeah, I think they're aiming for a preliminary hearing on first week of May. So the only good news about the whole COVID thing is it's kind of quieted the media sensation around this.
I actually was really
So
grateful for that. I was thinking about that the other day. I thought, so happy not to have that be on the front page every single time you open up your news.
yeah, it really all of this and the way it's transpired is essentially a made-for-TV movie, and it's kind of beyond.
It's beyond comprehension.
It is.
I've known her for so long, and that's why I just say, even me, my whole head just spins with all of it. I just can't really really believe that any of this has happened, actually. So, I don't know. I do know she had told me that she had gone, after the first incident, that they had her go to some place and do like some sort of psychological evaluation.
Yeah.
And she told me, I passed, everything's good. So I reflect on that often, trying to like understand how this could transpire in the way it did, and not have some sort of underlying mental illness or something happening, something that's been lingering in my head over the last little while. Just
To intervene, I don't know I know that she did do that back in whenever it was. I don't remember. I think it was February or so. But just so you understand how it works, is their job in a situation like that is to make sure that you're not an immediate danger to yourself or to somebody else. It's not necessarily a psych eval of your sound mind. It's a psych eval to make sure that you are not a danger to society right now. So it's almost an emergency room for psychiatric help. It's not a, hey, let's sit down and talk about this. Let's explore these views. And there's only from dealing with this in police work, not this case. There are two types. You have the danger to self or others, and then you have people that are persistently and acutely disabled, which they could be and I'm not saying Lori is, I'm just saying, for example, the bipolar person that is off their medication, but they haven't hurt anybody. You know, they're not currently suicidal or something like that. But that's a much different process than, are you going to hurt yourself or somebody, this week? So it wasn't that there was and I don't know whether there is or not. I'm not weighing in on that, but it's just so you understand the difference of the two. There's two very separate roads that they go down for those type of
that was
things.
very helpful, because I just kept thinking, that was all within the same year. I just can't believe
Yeah.
this could shift and change. But I just kept thinking there has to be something mentally happening that shifts in someone's mind to be able to orchestrate all sorts of.
Well, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me, okay? 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 Out to me, okay?